Really bullish CPI numbers coming out here, and the market is pumping. We've got to digest this now and make sure that we have you covered with some absolute banger setups, guys. I've got shorts loading for you guys. I've got some pullback longs for you that are getting teed up here. Let's go. And remember, guys, as always, hit that like, hit the bell, and hit the subscribe. And actually, like, triple hit the like if you're enjoying the pump, and triple hit it if you're enjoying that pump off those great zones that we covered yesterday. A nice result, actually, at the end of all of the drama over the last little bit. Oh, wait, look who's here. It's a Thursday. We got 𝗲𝗏𝗟 in the house, wearing green again. Obviously, we're going down, right? Obviously, we're going down.
Obviously.
Not helping, not helping. We got Panda in the house. He's vaping hard. Okay, the man is looking for breakouts. When he sees these conditions, his heart rate goes up and he gets excited. So looking forward to seeing what the man has for us today. So we've dragged him out of Chart Hackers, and let's see what he's got cooking for us. Now, Banter Bubbles, obviously it's going to be green after a pump like that. The question we are asking ourselves is this sustainable? Can we rely on it? Can we trust this bounce? That is the question. Okay, we've had a big move. We've pumped into resistance zones, guys. We really got to now focus on bull zones for any pullbacks, and we got to consider some shorts as we go higher up. Remember, we got some big news coming tomorrow as well that can play games with the market. So let's jump into BTC. Let's see what is going down. Okay, so our second visit into the bear zone for us here in BTC. We've got, what is this, 89,500 coming into play. Look at this, straight onto that VWAP from the highs, the VWAP from the highs on the 9th of December. So nice typical rejection zone, okay, pumping into that zone. We've also got the rising trend as well. So there's tons of confluence in this region that tells us maybe we need to be careful in that zone. So with that in mind, I've banged out another head short in that region. I'm going to show you how you can protect yourself, obviously, in the stream. Then in terms of local levels, if the bulls are going to step in here, ideally, we want to see them hold the local VWAP. We want to see them hold the 0.5 fib as well, and possibly that 382. So the region for me is 87,870 into 87,300, give or take. So anywhere in this region can be considered our local bull zone for maybe some continuation. Now, of course, we've got a 618 and things like that lower down, but right now for me, the focus is going to be on, are we going to hold this VWAP from the lows? Are the bulls going to step in here and start buying this thing at 87,300? So I'm watching this one closely. Let's see during the stream if we manage to hold it. You can see what happened yesterday. We pumped in and they just absolutely rinsed everybody back down. So it's going to be a massive test here today if they can hold this VWAP. But we do have one thing in our favor, which is super bullish CPI data. So we're going to talk about this in detail because there's a question that James is asking, and it is, can we trust the data? Okay, we're going to talk about that now. Tinfoil hats have come out already. It's all over Twitter at the moment, and we're going to have to see, okay? And Dylan ruined the boomers XRP. Guys, we're going to look at XRP. It did bounce in the bounce zone I gave you yesterday, but the good news about a pumping XRP is that we can add to our shorts, or we can look for fresh shorts on XRP. Okay, so guys, there's BTC. Current conditions, resistance, look at that. We've got our 89.5, then we've got 89.8. You can see that area. And then let's just note these horizontals here. They're super important zones. Just above 90,000, you can see there's our horizontal. That is a danger zone for us. And then I've got the bit of a banger up here. Now, this is if we get quite a hard pump leading into tomorrow. Maybe this weekend we get a hard move. That is going to be a beauty. 92,500 could be, I don't want to say a generational short, but it could be a really nice short opportunity for BTC. So 92.5. Let's see what happens if we do get up there. Step one, let's just get past the bull zone. Okay, we can see we are turning a little bit red here at the moment. Okay, let's get into some of the things. Now, how many people got liquidated today? Let's take a look. And I'm pretty certain there were a lot of people shorting major support. And you know how much I hate that. Okay, so I'd say, $480 million. Okay, so they weren't shorting hard enough, but they got taken out. Now, all the late longers are obviously going to come in. And if we drop a little bit, these numbers are going to start going up. So 480, it's okay. James was like, whatever. You know, I didn't even excite him there for a second. So my portfolio through Bull December, I just love this. Guys, how's it going? How's your December going so far? How's the Santa rally? I'm absolutely loving it at the moment. And let's just talk about how bullish everything is for BTC. Let's see. Institutional adoption, tick. Billions flowing into spot ETFs, good. First openly pro-crypto administration, good. Quantitative easing's coming back, and Bitcoin is still red at the end of the year. Is there anything we can do right to get us pumping a little bit to the upside? Okay, guys, just think about it. I feel like we've been just getting abused over the last 12 months. Now, let's talk about the big news. It's the CPI data. 2.6%. It's a hell of a beat. Okay, 𝗵𝗿𝗄𝗃 later even saying this is insane. Okay, what are they? According to this data, inflation is now at its closest point to the Fed's 2% target since the pandemic. So, on paper or in theory, this looks absolutely incredible. This should be pretty bullish news and quite interesting.
Fake
this
news,
inflation
sir.
Data, we're gonna get to your tinfoil hat now. The inflation data here tells us this is trueflation, quite interestingly, and they gave these predictions the other day, 2.6%. Okay, and it's come in line with trueflation. So that is an interesting one for us. And now, James, okay, the stage is yours, sir. Why can we not trust these numbers? Just tell me why we can't trust them.
Because these things are averaged out, right? They go previous month. If you look, those two bare columns with what, 3 numbers in there only, that's all from October. It wasn't published. They've now published it at 0. So of course it's going to bring the numbers way down. So next month, we're actually going to have this month's numbers come in. It'll average way back up. So yeah, I wouldn't trust the numbers.
There you go. So James doesn't trust the numbers. It's an average apparently. So look, let's wait and see what the market thinks. We're going to look at the US markets now. We're going to look at gold and silver as well. Some stocks. We're going to see if they can follow through, because remember, there's big news tomorrow. It's the Bank of Japan interest rates hike or whatever. They're going to be raising rates. What we know is the last 3 occasions that they did raise rates, Bitcoin dropped about 20 to 30% on each occasion. Now, I mean, the most obvious assumption here is that everybody knows about this and it should be, in theory, priced in. So I would like to think when the news eventually comes out, the market's going to breathe a sigh of relief, and then we can maybe grind a little bit higher. So that is kind of how I want to be positioned. And obviously the CPI was a big thing, but Mr. 𝗵𝗆𝗃 over here is actually ruining our day by telling us that we can't trust the numbers. Okay. Anything else about the Japanese rates decision? What time is
just that's at well, they don't give an exact time so that people can't trade the exact candle, right? But it's sometime between, it's after Asia Open. So it'll be tonight for me, sometime between 9:30 and 11:30 at night is when that comes in. So that's tomorrow for anybody in that part of the world. Yeah.
Okay. Well, guys, we've got an absolute banging Friday coming. Now, how's this? President Trump is asking U.S. oil companies if they are interested in returning to Venezuela once Maduro is gone. Okay, we know there's a little bit of drama going on in Venezuela. They got some great oil supplies. Sounds like they need some freedom. Okay, so we're gonna take a look at the oil price. There's a couple of There's a couple of levels here on oil on the weekly, making a lot of sense to me, and that is around 49. Now I'm tracking US oil. Remember, there are 2 oils. There's Brent and there's WTI, which is effectively US oil, and the one I'm tracking here is $49. This is US oil that we're going to be watching. So it's going to take one hell of a capitulation on oil. It is quite a big move down, but you can see right now we are holding a weekly level. If we lose this, I think that's a really nice long, okay, around about 49. Could be an absolute banger on US oil. So let's see if Venezuela gets some freedom, and maybe we get a bounce in the US oil price. Okay, let's talk silver, and I've taken the short on silver. Again, I like to do dumb shit sometimes, and this thing is by far the outperformer of the year, I would have to say. And why am I shorting it? So pretty much for this simple reason, okay? I'm using my oscillator in front of me, and it's telling me a story. The last time oil was absolutely exploding and everyone was saying this thing cannot go down, we printed double divergence, we printed a blue reversal dot, we printed a VWAP reversal, and then we had a beautiful dump on silver. Okay, so right now that's all the information I have to work with, and you can see what we've printed here: blue reversal dot, VWAP reversal, bearish divergence. So I'm having a crack at silver, and I think the exit is pretty clear. The exit is going to be a close above the highs, and that is the easiest way for me to play it. And then if it does pump a little bit higher, we can always start reassessing. Remember, we've got our 2618 fib, which is floating at the 68-69 region as well. So again, guys, it depends how you want to play it, but what the information in front of me is telling me that we could be looking at some kind of reversal here on silver, maybe subject to one more last dying breath, and maybe beating off Dave's dead horse or something. So 67.3, yes, sir.
Well, just one thing to throw out there, this comment reminded me, is that yesterday there was multiple reports in that Congress members had leaked to their friends that Trump was declaring war on Venezuela yesterday. That obviously didn't happen during a speech last night, but Trump loves to drop a bit of news on a Friday just after U.S. close. Something we should keep an eye on. There could be some news that comes out. They do that so that the TradFi market doesn't get time to react or close, and crypto takes the brunt of it. So just keep your eyes open Friday at market close tomorrow that we could see something on Venezuela.
Okay, so guys, there you go. Some news possibly around the corner. Here's silver. Okay, I've opened the short BTCC. There is an argument that this is a little bit of a head and shoulders here on the 1 hour as well. I can't find my magic pen on this chart, but you can see on the 1 hour is possibly looking a little bit bearish. So I've started a position here. You can see my Netflix is still green, MicroStrategy getting absolutely rinsed, and Circle is kind of doing green things for us at the moment. Okay, shorting silver into January is dangerous work. Well, I mean, danger is my middle name then, apparently. But look, guys, it makes sense to me. I'm giving it a go. You know what the exit is, okay? Like, just be safe. Just be safe about it. Okay, I haven't taken a massive size. Let's talk SPX when TradingView eventually decides to stop glitching and ruining my afternoon. Let's see where we are. What I did see was oh yes, look at that, 50-day MA coming into play. So we gapped up on the S&P. We have reclaimed our 50-day moving average, 6766, and we are looking for a push higher now on the S&P. So far, it's okay. We obviously want to see crypto follow the S&P and remain strong for as much as possible. And obviously, we'll have to see if we can pierce these highs on that S&P. If we start breaking fresh highs, they're going to call it the Santa rally, and us holding the hot potato with flat crypto are probably going to be a bit upset if it doesn't start waking up. So best Bitcoin wakes up, but the S&P has reclaimed the 50, and that is starting to look good. Now, let's cover a couple of stocks. And just so you guys know what is coming here, I'm covering Coinbase, MicroStrategy, Circle. We're going to look at higher time frame Bitcoin, and then we're jumping straight into altcoins. We're talking ETH, Sol, Sui, a lot of updates from yesterday. Pendle absolutely flying off that weekly level, to 𝗬𝗧𝗧 even doing something, Aero doing stuff. And obviously, I've got Panda over here, and he's going to start bringing us some action. So I'm actually getting quite excited to see what Panda has in store for us there. And the vape's down, so the man's obviously locked in. Looking forward to this, sir. Okay, here we go. He's coming in hot. He's coming in hot. So let's talk Coinbase. So this was earlier today. Coinbase opened 4% higher after announcing the addition of Kalshi prediction markets and stock trading. Now, guys, I've been talking to you about this Kalshi over the last couple of days, and I need your feedback. And I want to get stuck into this. So what I've proposed in the 𝗨𝗥𝗧𝗃 Discord is, if you guys are members in the Discord and you're enjoying the 𝗘𝗆 situation, what I'll do is I'll open a channel specifically dedicated to that, and I'll get somebody in there who is running these prediction markets pretty much daily for you guys. So if you're enjoying this 𝗘𝗆 thing, you got to let me know, and then I can add it on into the 𝗨𝗥𝗧𝗃 Discord for you guys. So if you want to trial this, it's currently for US residents only. Jump into the show description, you click on more, and you're going to sign up there for 𝗘𝗆, and then we can guess all these types of fun things that you've seen me been playing with over the last couple of days. Okay, so let me know. I want your feedback. Now let's talk Coinbase and see what the actual story is here. So, when I checked after a 4% headline, I was quite excited. I thought this thing was absolutely exploding. But if you look at it here on the chart, it's actually not doing us much at the moment. The investor says, Panda giving us Chinese Pepe. Anybody for Chinese Pepe? No, thank you, sir. I'm actually okay. I don't need that. Okay, so Coinbase 235. This is going to be our first line of support. You can see when we last charted this thing, we did get a bounce off that region over here, but you can see I've got a gap, which is a little bit of a problem. So this would tie in for me on new lows on Bitcoin. If we get new lows on Bitcoin, you're probably going to find Coinbase at around this 200 region or possibly lower. Okay, so possible bounce there for me to the downside. But looking at it right now, like I'm not seeing a setup just yet unless we're prepared to go lower. So kind of just biding my time on this for now. No changes. MicroStrategy just loves rinsing me at the moment. So I see they got downgraded to basically dog shit today. There was what was that rating, James? There was a downgrading on MicroStrategy apparently, and now it's like they're really taking a little bit of pain. So for me, still watching this 152 Obviously, we don't want to go down to 110. You can see that is a big bounce zone. But right now, obviously, I'm relying on that 152 to hold. And then in terms of circle, guys, yeah, I've been riding this one for a couple of weeks now, since the lows. When was this? 19th of November. So it's actually a month we've been sitting in the circle. Obviously, would like to see higher. 19, 110 is a perfect world for me, but we do need a strong crypto market for this one to start pushing up, I would assume. Okay, now let's talk. Oh, I got the wrong chart here, but this was ETH, and this is what I wanted to show you guys with ETH. The ETH supply on exchanges has fallen to its lowest level since 2016. Now, we're going to cover that when we talk about ETH. I just wanted to touch on Bitcoin on the 3-day, just the higher time frames for you quickly. No changes to this bigger picture. You can see on the 3-day chart, we're still bearish here at our first line of resistance. So that is our 91,400 into, what is this upper band? 94K on the 3-day. This is a big bear zone. Here's our massive long zone on the 3-day chart, which is anything from, say, 79 into, say, 75K is the big support that you're going to be watching. Obviously, degen traders, we're looking at much lower time frames here. We're playing much shorter moves and things like that, and this is the current zone that we are playing in with BTC. Okay, let's go. Let's get into these alts, and then I'm excited to get Panda involved here with us for our RSI heat map. Let's talk about, like, how did I know that there was going to be a bounce coming today? Okay, so in the 𝗨𝗏𝗏𝗃's Discord this morning, on my market update, I told the guys I'm leaning towards long. I'm looking to get long and looking for a bounce. Okay, and I gave multiple reasons as to why I was interested in it. But one of the factors that we use quite often, and it's quite a nice guideline for us, is the 4-hour RSI heat map. Now you can see it has shifted a little bit today, but I wanted to show you guys what it looked like earlier in my market update, just so you guys can get a picture as to what we were dealing with. So there were a couple of signs for me this morning telling us that we were going to get a bounce in the market, and this could be a nice lesson for you guys. You can see I told the hackers here earlier today. What did I say? I said, so for me, expecting to be tested, but overall, I'm cautiously getting long. Okay, so that was multiple hours ago. Here's our 4-hour RSI heat map. And you can see all the altcoins were sitting at the lows, and a lonely Bitcoin dominance, look at that, towards the upside there, was sitting at the highs. And when you see the alts at the lows and you see dominance at the highs, that is obviously or often an indication that there could be a little bit of activity there with some of these alts if they are sitting on support. And naturally, you're going to tie that in with things like USDT dominance that was pushing into resistance at the same time, as well as Bitcoin dominance that started reversing for us. Okay, so here's our USDT dominance pushing into a little bit of resistance. Okay, so the signs were there that we were going to get a move. Now, let's immediately jump into ACT. You can see ACT here at the top right. It's our outlier. This is our shitcoin casino, and possibly a short is cooking here for us. And Panda must be licking his lips when he sees a setup like this, because this thing is absolutely exploding. And I've got the 200-day MA, I've got a VWAP from the highs, and I've got a macro 382 at this 37 region. So this looks like a monster short zone for me on this ACT. So guys, be patient, wait for this thing to come to you. You can see that oscillator has flipped super bullish here, and this thing could be grinding higher. So if there is one more euphoric pump and some kind of blow off top, 37 into even 38 looks like quite a nice short zone, and we're going to look for about a 20 to 30% dump on this guy, ACT. Okay, so play safe, but there's a ton going on here to the upside, and I think that would probably make quite a nice short. Now, let's talk ETH and let's talk liquidations. How's this poor guy? Whale closes $75 million ETH long position at stop loss. What did he lose here? $2.1 million. Okay, the loss as the market rebounded. This ends his 12 trade winning streak. Total profit on Hyperliquid is still 23. Okay, still 23 million up. But the guy had to take a 2.1 million loss on his bet on ETH. Now, I actually remember when he traded this the other day. I mean, it was quite a nice move that he was playing for there. And unfortunately, it didn't go his way. But obviously, there's a little bit of bullish information floating around, like the supply and exchanges that I mentioned earlier. But in terms of ETH and in terms of nailing zones, guys, the 786 fib was an absolute thing of beauty yesterday. Look at that drop into 796 on the 786 fib. Thank you so much. And a beautiful bounce for us there. Now, what do we do with ETH? So there's a couple of signs. Panda, don't go away there, sir. I feel like you're getting lonely, and I don't want you to feel lonely.
I do feel lonely, man. I'm just sitting in the background,
Don't.
And I'm gonna delete this setup now because I had the same exact setup on ACT.
Oh, okay.
35.8. 35.8.
Nice confluence. Yes, okay, so that's good news. So so Panda agrees with that. What was it, ACT or whatever that token was? Yep. Now, what do we do with ETH? How's this, Panda? We've got bullish divergence prints, SOL on the 4 hour, ETH on the 4 hour, SUI on the 4 hour. Loads of other alts are looking 4 hour bullish for me, and that's obviously scaring me because I've got so much trauma and PTSD about these false little pumps that we get in the market over the last couple of months. What do you make of a 4 hour bullish divergence print? Shall we believe this one, or shall we sit back and
we should send it? That's funny you say that, because a lot of the alts, some of the setups I'm dropping, I'm saying that the 4, 6, and 8 hour seems to be like a relief bounce bullish, but overall on the daily we might be pulling back a bit more. But for now, into the rates, I think we pump.
So here's the question, and this is the question you guys need to ask yourselves. Okay, so if you got those levels from earlier today from the 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏 ETH, Sol, all these types of things, you're going to be sitting at profit now. You're going to be sitting nice and green, and you're going to be faced with a very similar dilemma that I have at the moment. So I'm going to show you what I've got going on, and you need to make the call. Like the 4 hour actually says there's a possibility that we go higher, okay? And it doesn't have to be much higher. Then you've got Panda telling us that the daily says maybe net down. So what does this tell us? We shouldn't be looking for a Hail Mary long for new highs. We should be looking for a lower high, but we also don't want to jump in a little bit too early based on what the oscillators are telling us. So I'm going to give you some guideline areas. I'm going to show you some rejection zones, some short zones that you guys need to pay attention to. And obviously you're going to have to make these choices as these things start moving a little bit higher. And it's always, I call it the trader's dilemma. I mean, I've obviously got the dilemma. I told the guys I was getting long today, and that is what I did, you know, and this thing is now lit up. And fortunately, it's not quite a Christmas tree, but the only head short I've picked up so far is this Bitcoin short that I've got over here. But everything else is doing quite nicely. ETH has been ripping. Sui's done... what? Sui's dropped again. I feel like I'm getting rinsed. Okay? That's so irritating. Sui was cooking earlier. Brett's okay. Pendle's okay. Well, Pendle's actually been an outperformer today. Aero's woken up. 𝗨𝗹𝗄𝗏, small bounce, and Sol doing its thing. So yeah, I mean, we need to obviously make a call here as to how we play this. So let's start with ETH. And with all this information at hand, and you can see, like, there's a big problem for me with ETH a little bit higher up. So guys, anyone that is longing now, just note, there is a very big danger zone up here. Why is this an important area? Number one, 3,000 is our local 382 pool. It's also our local undercarriage. Okay, so there's information number one. Then we've got a VWAP from the highs. That is obviously a dangerous zone. Look how that VWAP has acted as resistance the last couple of touches. Okay, so we could expect a rejection on that VWAP. Then we've got our 50-week moving average over here for ETH. Look at that. That's resistance, support, okay? And we're going to treat it as resistance again now in that zone. Then a little bit higher up, we've got our 0.5 fib at 3,120. So for me, looking at this, it looks like an absolute mess in terms of the upside. RJDJ and boo, we're going to 102. I'll take that. Okay, I'll take 102 any day. That'll be fun. But in terms of ETH, guys, what we need to get through, let's get through 3,000 to 3,120. If you pop through there, there's always a fresh trade opportunity in that zone. My only concern is that we pump into this area, we slow down, and then we dump. And that's going to be ugly. Okay, we don't want to give away all our profits in an area like that. So 3,000 to 3,120, possible short zone. But for the bulls here, let's get through that area. Okay, let's get into that zone. Take profit in that area. If we pop through, there's fresh longs in that zone, okay? And remember, if there are going to be shorts on offer, you're going to get those setups from me. I'm going to give you those short options. But right now, you can see that is the bear zone. That is your potential short zone as it stands. Let's see when they push it into that area, and then we're going to make a call over there. Okay, so remember, guys, these charts go into the 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏 Discord for you directly after the show, and you'll be able to fiddle around with them, you know, as you please. Now, Here's the other one, Sol on the 4-hour. Look at that bullish divergence print, blue reversal dot as well. Things looking beautiful. And I covered a couple of levels yesterday for Sol. One of the big ones was this big weekly level at 120, but the other one was this local region over here that we dropped into. You could see we had daily support in that zone, and we did eventually get our bounce. Now, obviously, the oscillator looks pretty good to us, but if we go, based on history, every time we've gotten a pump out of Sol, we seem to be dumping. Okay, look at every time we've got a pump here, this thing rolls over. Okay, so again, we need to be aware that it could possibly do the same thing again. Okay, we could get a proper rejection once again on Sol, and we could end up in tears looking for things lower down. So with that in mind, what I want you guys to see is a very dangerous bear zone, which is between 130 and 133. So if you are looking for shorts and things like that, that is going to be the first big zone of engagement. That is a really strong area, and you can see these wicks every time it hits those VWAPs that we tend to have a problem with Sol. So what I would say is if we push a little bit higher, that is going to be your TP region. That is where you're going to be super careful. And what you can do after that is if we do get some degree of consolidation, so let's say we pop in here and we start consolidating, then we know we're probably going to get some kind of flag breakout, and we can take that trade again and we can push this thing to the next level. Okay, so just be careful up there. 130, 133, very, very dangerous area there for Sol. If we break through, we use that as support. Now, Panda looks bored, and I need to unboard him. So I want him to give us.
No, I'm focusing with you. I'm looking at the screen because I was gonna be a devil's advocate, and I was gonna say, after this relief bounce on Sol, how do you feel about Sol at 100? Just putting it out there.
Dude, I feel disgusting because I just don't want to mentally go there over Christmas. But like, why are you doing this to me, bro? Why?
I mean, it's an early Christmas present because it's
Oh,
you can load up on your bags if you still do spot.
Okay, so give me a trade setup. Give me a trade setup. See what you got, Jeff.
So, Japan Pepe, anyone?
Japanese Pepe. Okay.
Okay. All right. I'm gonna build on what you were saying about the 4-hour, the 6-hour, and the 8-hour. On a lot of alts, it's saying go. All right. So I got whiff here. Just hear me out. I see whiff coming a lot lower. So I'm not interested in the bounce that we're getting right now on whiff. I see a rejection and then a loss of trend. And we need to keep in mind this area, this 32-cent area that we never filled these wicks. So I see worst case scenario. I see whiff coming down at about 32 down to 30. And the scribbles say it all. Like you can get a 10, 11%, 15% bounce over the next couple of days until we reject, and then we fall under, we lose the trend, and then we come down, tap the 32-cent region. It's dark, it's red, it's bleeding. Everyone's packing
James,
their bag.
Can you ban this man? Take this man off my screen.
I'm just saying.
Okay, let's take the 15%.
Let's put on alarm. How about this? We put on alarm at 3,200.
That's fair. That's fair. In fact, that's fair. I'm actually gonna preset this. Wait, I'm gonna do this on 2-bit. Hold on. Okay, give me the entry, bro. Give me the entry there.
3,200. 32. 0.3032.
Okay, hold on. Let's go. Whiff 0.32. Okay.
Yeah, we get a relief rally till the end of the year. First week of Jan, everyone is saying, "Oh, we didn't tap previous month low." You know that? Yeah. I see this happening in Jan.
Okay. I'm there, bro. I'm there. Okay, let me just show the guys here. I've set my order here. It's looking very lonely, but I must say I cannot disagree with that. Like pump, big rejection, some more downside. We're gonna pick up Sol at 100. Here I am on 2-bit. Okay, so I've loaded in whiff here, and I've got my limit order set here. Panda, $7,500 at 32. Okay, it's looking quite lonely there at the moment, but I think a little sell-off there over Christmas, maybe we could come and pick that one up. Okay, so I've locked this one in on 2-bit, and let's see how we go.
That ties with your oil on the weekly, by the way. Like tapping that weekly. If that explodes, if that breaks out, then that's a headline of a war, of a whatever, and it's a massive sell-off. But not today. Maybe we do get the Christmas rally. But yeah, next I got something possibly incoming. I don't know what's going on with ETHW, if there's some news going on here, but it is pressing on this downward trend and the macro 618, and it looks like it's breaking out. If it's not falling over now, I see a sweep for previous week high, somewhere around 0.627 up to 0.653. So this is if we're getting a fake pump into this Japan.
So this is wrapped.
Sorry?
This is wrapped ETHW.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Let's go. So
don't know what's going on with it, but it's angry. It's angry. Higher conviction play is about 0.68, but for now,
what's the lower one? Yeah, 6.2. What is it?
0.629.
Okay, 0.629. Okay,
yeah.
I'm gonna put your order there.
Yeah, keep it like a 7x up to 0.654. That's a 4%.
Okay, ETHW. Haven't heard of this thing in ages. I think I've traded ETHW once in my life. James is like, what the fuck is this? Yeah, I mean, the ETHW loves Japan rate hikes. Okay, I mean, like again, I don't know what we're dealing with yet, but there's 2-bit. Okay, I've loaded in the short there, 6290. Okay, we've locked that one in on 2-bit. So I've got 2 orders here waiting, coming in hot. Okay, let's see if we can nail these over the next week. Okay, without even looking at the screen. Okay, nice, Panda. So guys, we're gonna put these charts in the Charthackers Discord for you. And what's happened here?
I got the last one for you. So I got a high time frame whiff for you. I got a medium time frame ETHW for you, and then I got this could be happening over the next day or two. XMR again. I think money is
earlier today.
Did you?
Yeah. I mean,
well, I'm trying to catch this. I want to see if this weekly open is gonna hold.
Okay, so, fair call. Okay, I'm going to pull out my XMR chart just now. I'm going to take you guys through that short. We're going to talk about that one and why I shorted it. And then we're going to look at the bull zone, which is probably going to be Panda's bounce zone that you're looking at over there. So there is a possible fresh long. Remember, what we've been seeing at the moment is when the market pumps, these privacy coins go down. And when the market dumps, these privacy coins are going up, probably because, James, they're selling their Bitcoin and they're trying to obscure it with privacy tokens. Okay, so something like that. If you guys like a tinfoil hat, okay, there you go. That is what is going on. So often quite a nice hedge play, actually, for these things. When the market's looking like dog shit, you can jump into those guys. Now, in terms of that XMR, let's just see if this thing is actually performing for us. Oh, there, great. Hitting stop losses on 𝗬𝗰. Fucking lovely. Okay, let's go. There's XMR. Okay, so that short is actually printing here at the moment. And I didn't get monster size, but I took it earlier for the Charthackers guys. I told them I was jumping into that short. Now, let's talk 𝗬𝗰. Let's talk Hyperliquid, Pendle, XRP. Arrows coming as well for you guys. Panda, obviously any commentary is welcome. Don't tell me 𝗬𝗰 is dog shit though, until I'm out of it.
Do we even like it anymore?
Dude, I think it stopped me. Did it really just stop me out? I'm so
I think it did, dude. It was like on top of your list.
Too tight. Okay, so what I did was I ramped up sizing. For example, like I've done the same with AVAX after that bounce, and I aggressively ramped up the size and then I obviously raised the stop. So there's AVAX, for example, started off low yesterday. I think one of our members, Kelly Raff, was talking about longing AVAX off at good level yesterday, and it made sense to me. And that was also in our higher time frame chart. So I've ramped up the sizing on this thing, and now obviously I've got a tight stop running because I don't want to get rinsed now if it rolls over. So that is what's happened to 𝗬𝗰. James, what did you say there about 𝗬𝗰? In fact, I don't want to know. Oh, Ďarvík. I thought it said something else actually on the corner of my eye. Okay, so let's talk 𝗬𝗰. So a beautiful explosion, guys. I gave you these levels yesterday. This 1.4, 1.41 region has actually held, and we got a nice explosive move. Now, again, you got to wear different hats. You got to decide, you know, what side of the fence you're on. Okay, 4 hours says bullish divergence. There it is. Okay, looking like we could go a little bit higher. So there's signs there that we could get a move in the market. If you go and back test and you go look, like you don't get bullish divergence on a 4 hour that often. Okay, so it's not like a regular occurrence. You can see this is December. The last time we got it was middle to late November, and then the previous time was at the beginning of November. So 3 times in a month you're getting bullish divergence prints on a 4 hour. So we kind of need to pay attention because it might obviously lead to something potentially a little bit bigger. So just in terms of the bigger picture, 141 is your first line of support. Next one is 136. and next one is 132. Okay, these are your major supports. Now, if we go dial in a little bit lower and we start looking at a couple of degen things, and this is one of the first things I wanted to show you guys today, what we need to track when the market is obviously getting a little bit bullish and we're trying to look for continuation. What we want to track is the local VWAPs from the lows with a fib. Now, that would typically constitute your bull zone. Now, a bull zone is typically a 382, a 0.5, and a local VWAP. Obviously, in some instances where the market explodes, you're going to get situations where the VWAP might tie in with a 618, for example. And all you want to do is quite typically just find that combination. Okay, so you can see what's going on here. 𝗬𝗎 being sold off so heavily now, so quickly. But look at that. There's our 618 and our VWAP that is trying to hold above at the moment. So in theory, this is still holding the bull zone. Okay, so 1.422 for now can be something that you can use. And then on more degen time frame, guys, you can obviously use your local low, which is 1.41 as your degen support. So that's for the high leverage degen guys. With the lower leverage guys, you're looking at this and you're saying, okay, cool, 4-hour divergence tells me we might start churning higher. Cool. Where's my main supports that I need to worry about as a lower leverage trader or spot trader? Those are the big levels you want to pay attention to. Okay, so 𝗬𝗎 degen zone 142, 141. Bigger picture, you've got it. You know what to do in terms of drops into those areas. Those are possible longs on 𝗬𝗎. Now, this guy, 𝗵𝗆𝗆𝗃𝗃 says, pray for hype. Bro, I hate hype. I don't even want to trade it anymore. Hype and pump were like the twins. You know what I mean? They were like, I used to blow motorboats on those things. You know what I mean? Like, I fucking love those things, okay? Yeah. Now, they're just upsetting me. And look at this. Pray for hype. Look at the lickies here on Hyperliquid. Look at it. 20, 21, 24. Look at the size of the liquidations here. And when you get this close, it's so difficult to not expect these guys to come and flush this. Look at this. All the way down. I mean, even like 18 looks like an absolute misery on hype. So yeah, I'm a little bit sad because these were my twins. I used to love trading hype and pump, and they're both getting abused. But guys, in terms of what I'm looking at here, if you want a long zone after that lickies on hype, I think it's going to be an absolute banger if we can catch it down here. Round about this 21, anything into even 19.5 on hype does look like a bit of a banger here. So kind of just be patient. I think we do get a move. You can see the divergences are building, the reversals are building. You're going to get multiple spider webs here, and at some point it should hit that zone. And I think if you do get a liquidation, it's going to happen pretty fast, and you're going to get a big wick on hype. And if you see that wick coming, get ready to get long on that thing. It should start accelerating back up into the 40 type region there. Okay, so something to look forward to. In fact, put your alarms on, maybe even get a stink bid at around 20 on hype. Could be a play. But yeah, it's pretty gross. Okay, Iman, yeah, you're going to take some pain potentially if we go a little bit lower here, but at least you can see the recipe and you can see the exit plan. You can see the possible bounce coming. We just got to make it through. Okay, now guys, remember all these DEXs, they come with this like incentive situation where they launch a token, and if you're trading, you earn airdrops and all that type of thing. So don't forget, you can do that with Gravity as well. They got their launch coming, their airdrop is coming as well. So when you're trading on Gravity, you are farming airdrop points, and you can take advantage of things like that. And the guys that did hype did very well. The guys that did lighter did very well. And the guys that are doing Gravity, perhaps there's something coming your way. So if you want to farm Gravity with me, there's a link in the show description. You can obviously jump in there and start farming. And let's see if we can get some airdrop points there on Gravity. Okay. And Charles says, hit the likes for free alpha. I concur. This is good. This is good alpha here. And beware everyone expecting low markets loves the opposite. Yes, Mr. Jones, welcome back, sir. Good to have you here. Okay, guys, let's briefly touch on Pendle. I did cover this last week in detail. This is a major weekly level. Okay, I highlighted this for you guys, and when I see a major weekly level come into play, I find it very difficult to not even try a small position. So that is what I've obviously done here. I've jumped into this Pendle long. It's finally hit our big zone. Now, in a perfect world, if this plays out, 300%. If it plays out, 257%. Okay, here's another example there. 320%. So for example, let's not be greedy, let's go with 140%. Okay, so if we can get something like that, Chinese paper, if we can get something like this, like that would be nice. Again, if I get a 10 or 15% move out of Pendle, I'm probably going to close it and be quite proud. Okay, so anyway.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's why you're measuring 300% and 500%.
I just want the 50-day MA. You know what I mean? They can just give me a 5 or a 10. Fuck it. Okay, so guys, that is kind of what we want to see on Pendle. Obviously, if this level fails, everyone's going to get rinsed because the next level is 125 and 98. Basically, see you at 0. So right now, we obviously want Pendle to hold. So I took that long around 180. Your big support is 172. Okay, big weekly support here. Hopefully we get some more upside. Okay, next question. Where do we short XRP again? And where do we add to our XRP short? Let's just see my current situation. I've banked $3,000 so far on this XRP short, James. I'm enjoying every moment of it. Okay, every single moment I love. Okay, so now what do we got going on? My average entry, unfortunately, is now 1.97. Okay, so let's go and take a look at XRP. Where do we add to the short? And we've got 2 and we've got 205. So that is the most feasible area there for me to add to XRP shorts. Or if you're looking for fresh shorts, that is probably going to be the zone of interest there. And then remember, TP4, for those of you that are still holding the short from the when entry, is actually at 0. Okay, so it's quite a big move. It's a little dip to the down. Okay, so... What are you laughing at, bro? Okay, so 2 to 2.06, guys. That is my ad zone for the short. Let's see if that works. The average entry is, what did we say? 1.97. Okay, so that's going to put me under pressure, obviously, but I'm prepared to let XRP put me under pressure and add to the shorts. I've seen this movie before. Okay, so James, are you happy with the plan? Yeah. Are you satisfied with the plan? Okay.
That was fine.
James would love nothing more.
Nothing personal.
Liquidated on an XRP pump. Like, you would absolutely love that. Okay, let's talk XMR. And this was a setup I dropped, I think it was last Friday. I put it on the show, or it was in the Chart Hackers Friday banger Zoom or whatever we did, but we waited a week. Okay, no, not a week. We waited 6 days for this XMR. Finally hits the zone. My alarm went off earlier today when it hit the area, and 445. So that is a zone you want to test for a short. And the reason that was interesting to me was the divergence. Okay, you can see here, 4 hour has now printed a fresh low on the oscillator. We've printed a new high on the price, and that is our bearish divergence for XMR. So I took the short, obviously, ideally looking for lower, but Panda, I hear you, and I can see your retest zone makes a ton of sense. What did you say your weekly level was there? Your bounce?
That's funny. I'm playing your dead cat bounce test. Yeah, exactly at 408, 410-ish.
Yeah, I mean, that's a banger. It's a proper banger, that support. So, yeah, guys, I mean, there's a camp. I agree with Panda. There's a possible bounce coming. 410 to 402 looks amazing. There's order block, VWAP, fibs, trend. There's many reasons that thing can bounce. Again, we just don't know how high it can bounce from there. So right now, I'm parked in that short. The exit plan easy, guys. Close above 455 is an exit. Okay, so just leave that for now, and let's see how that goes on. PMG George talking Altcoin. Panda? Jeez, Altcoin.
I was just about to say, don't fade Altcoin on the 12-hour.
Hey, draw up the chart quickly.
Yes, sir.
Okay, Panda's going to give us some thoughts. Now, guys, quick recap on Aero. Hasn't been an explosive move, but it's in the zone. Okay, so I'm obviously long Aero here. You can see, look at that daily. It's so rinsed to the downside. It's screaming some type of reversal here. So, you know, I can't help but watch this area. I'm sitting in a long for Aero. Your exit plan is close under 475. If you close under 475, you probably want to cut, because then you're looking at 44, you're looking at 38, and you're looking at 29 for Aero. Okay, so right now I've taken that one. Let's talk Brett, and this was a challenging one for me as well, just floating around that entry box. It's one of those annoying little movers, like sitting in those areas, and eventually we got the pop now on the market. We haven't hit our TP just yet, but you can see in terms of support for Brett, what you can use is your local undercarriage here. So 1.4, you can use 1.4 as your first line of support here on Brett. So when entry traders, I'll drop an update here for you on Brett, but you can see 1.4 does look like a reasonable zone here in the center of that box. Nice undercarriage there. So if we drop into that area for Brett, that could be a bullish zone for us to hold. Okay, so Brett traders, no changes there. I'm obviously still sitting in this guy, looking for some moves there. It's done okay, but I think we can do better. Okay, 𝗵𝗹𝗃𝗃, and this is our big weekly level. There were 2 zones left for us, guys. The long zone was here, anything down to 222, and then your next long zone is 175. That's it for 𝗵𝗹𝗃. Okay, 222, 175. I took the long. Let's see if we can get a push higher. Candle close below 222. I think you have a lot of pain and suffering, and they drop it another 20-25% on this thing. And yeah, it's going to be rough. Okay, Panda. Let's see Altcoin quickly. I'm going to put you on the clock. Put you on the clock. There it is. Oh, all right. Yeah. Okay, I get it.
It's bounced now. It's trying to hold previous month mid, and it's sitting in a bullish block. So if it's not bouncing now, I would want to revisit these lows. I would kind of count that this is the second higher low and a deviation, and we wouldn't be testing this anytime soon. But I would definitely keep my eye on. I would put an alarm here, actually at 0.242. The 12-hour is ready to go. Like it's reversing. So again, if anyone is wants to risk it enough, you can play the current lows down to 0.26. That would be your stop loss if you're scalping this right now. If not, I would give it some time and just let it bleed its way to here until it becomes a thing again. You know what I mean? Where it kind of fades, and then you get your little tap on the third tap on the trend, and it starts becoming a thing again. So again, lows at 0.261 if you're scalping it. Otherwise, I would wait for 0.242.
I see, like that 12-hour looks insane, like that it's going to give you some kind of short-term bounce, but then yeah, the bigger picture does look a little bit dark. Okay, guys, there you go. You've got short zones. You know how to build your bullish zones that you can look for add-on longs if we have a little pullback. Just be safe out there, okay? And remember, like, these bounces are difficult to trust, so make sure that you are clipping a little bit of profits when you're hitting these danger zones to the upside. James, anything you'd like to add today, sir?
Good luck, everyone. Biggest day ever in crypto again today. Tomorrow for some of you.
As always.
Okay, guys, see you later.